Calculating max ignoring errors. Brad Williams, Excel primed. What you're going to learn today is, in this session, is the aggregate and the MAXIF. Just a quick cursory or quick overview how we're going to do this. Essentially, what we have here is an example. Just some, let's just say these are golfers and here's some scores. What we're going to do is find the max. Over here, we just have the anatomy. Here's the formula. Here is the layout. This is how it works. If we break this down, we have the aggregate. We're going to have function name. Here's the function name. Here are the options. And then the array and the K. This is just the anatomy. This is the layout, and this is the structure that you're going to have to complete when you use the aggregate and the MAXIF, or for that matter, any of the Excel functions. To the right over here is just a quick write-up. What it is an overview. I'm not going to go over the specifics here. I'm just going to do a Reader's Digest version. If it doesn't work for you, then ignore it, or just send me a message saying, and that's not accurate data, or what have you. The aggregate function allows you to ignore any errors and obtain the maximum value for your numerical data. Here's the formula, aggregate, 4, 6 score. So what I just covered. We have the aggregate, we have the function, we have the num options, we have the array. So some of these are going to be optional and some are going to be mandatory. Here you're going to see the different arguments are required. The key thing here is the errors. You can see we have NA errors. If you try to find the average using the average function, you're going to see that it's probably going to kick out an error. You can see the MAXIF, the structure here. The MAXIF function returns the maximum value in a data set after applying one or more criteria to filter out irrelevant data. If the data is positive, the following formula can be used to return the maximum value without taking into account any errors. Our structure here is to set this up so that we can get for the max and not worry about the errors. So here we have aggregate, we have 4. What is 4? Operations to perform. Now, when you're using aggregate, there are 19 different categories. And what we're going to do is we're going to move over to this other worksheet, aggregate functions. And we're going to see we have the aggregate functions here. Excel provides 19 different functions. What we're doing for is number 4 is max. If we were looking for min, we would use 5. So let's go back here and you see how we're recognizing this. Function number 4. Then we have this option. The option is value to ignore 0 through 7. So what we're going to do is go here and options, and you can see we have the behavior. They use options behavior, and we put ignore errors. Now we have choices. We can ignore hidden rows, ignore error values, ignore hidden rows, error values nested, ignore nothing, ignore hidden rows, ignore hidden values. You can see that this is going to take a little bit of practice and to understand its aggregate function. It's a powerful tool. With the power comes a lot of information, and it's just a matter of going through, reading this second worksheet, and practice. Now let's go back here. You can see aggregate 4, score 228. We're going to use name ranges. And here, score 228 is C5 to C15. The way this works is you can go in, you can highlight this area, and you can go in and you could type score 228. And that will be recognized as the first argument. Why? Because you can see the structure here. We have this function number, we have this option, we have this first argument, and then we have this second argument. Is it applicable? No. So with those 3 arguments, we can determine the max. Moving on to MAXIF, Here's the structure. We have max range, range 1, criteria, range 2, criteria 2. The information in the bracket represents optional. Everything else is the required. So we have max range, and what's the max range? Again, what we're trying to do is find the max score. So the range would be C5 to C15. The second, we have the range 1, so it's a little redundant. So we're going to go score 228 again. Trying to do greater than equal to 0. So what we're looking for is the max greater than equal to 0. Now you could see that we're not having to deal with the aggregate and all of the different definitions within the aggregate. So here are two different approaches to finding the max. They both work equivalently. It's just a matter of your comfort level. You can see aggregate. If you can master aggregate, you're going to be able to squeeze in a lot more functionality under one function as opposed to using the MAXIFS or MINIFs. And we're going to get into MINIF and MAXIF as opposed to the MAXIFs and MINIFs. Brad Williams, XL Primed.